Welcome to Travel Buddy, your ultimate destination for all things travel. Join us as we explore exciting destinations, share valuable tips, and inspire your next adventure. Whether you're a seasoned globetrotter or planning your first getaway, we've got you covered with engaging stories and helpful insights. Let's embark on this journey together. Kicking off our list at number 30, we have Tallinn, Estonia. Estonia, that quaint little country with its medieval charm and tech-savvy reputation. Tallinn is, for the most part, a pretty safe city, but even in paradise, there's always a snake in the grass. Tallinn has a surprisingly high homicide rate, 5.5 homicides per 100,000 people. It's a reminder to stay aware, even in the safest seeming places. Next up, we're heading south to Lithuania, to its charming capital, Vilnius. Known for its stunning Baroque architecture and vibrant art scene, Vilnius is rich in history. It's a city that's been through a lot but always comes out on top. Generally, it's a pretty safe city, with a low crime rate of 26.95. But there's always a but, isn't there? In 2008, Vilnius had a high murder rate. Thankfully, it's much lower now. Enjoy the beauty, soak up the culture, but stay vigilant. All right, coming in at number 3, we've got Florence, Italy. Birthplace of the Renaissance, home to Michelangelo's David, delicious pasta, and a decent amount of crime. Florence is stunning, but it's also a city that knows how to make a quick buck off tourists. Crime rate of 38.49, not shocking for a major European city. It's the sneaky stuff you've got to worry about. Pickpockets swiping wallets and phones with grace. And then there are the scams. Overpriced souvenirs to fake taxis. So if you're planning a romantic getaway, keep your wits about you and your valuables close. At number 4, we find ourselves in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Belfast has a complicated past, marked by decades of conflict known as the Troubles. Things have calmed down significantly since the Good Friday Agreement in 1998. But even with peace, Belfast still grapples with a crime rate of 43.72. Some areas with strong sectarian divisions still see tensions. Belfast is a city on the rise with vibrant culture and friendly people. Number 5 takes us to Kaunas, Lithuania, a city that might surprise some of you. Kaunas is known for its beautiful architecture, rich history, and love of vodka. This love of vodka plays a role in the city's surprising crime rate. Kaunas has a crime rate of 37.84. The homicide rate is 5.4 per 100,000 people. The culprit, alcohol. Lithuania's drinking culture sometimes spills over into violence, domestic disputes, drunken brawls, you name it. But Kaunas is still a beautiful city with a lot to offer. Welcome to Milan, Italy, a city of high fashion and hidden dangers. Milan has a crime rate of 44.12, landing it in the top 10. Known for luxurious shopping, stunning architecture, and delicious food. But it has a darker side. Tourists need to be extra vigilant. Watch out for pickpockets and scams. Stick to well-lit areas and keep your valuables close. Millions visit Milan and have a fantastic time. Stay alert and you'll be good to go. At number 7, we find ourselves in Sarajevo, Bosnia and Herzegovina, a city with a complex history. Sarajevo clocks in with a crime rate of 45.03. It's been through a lot. The Bosnian War, the siege of Sarajevo. The scars of conflict can linger. These scars sometimes manifest in social issues. Tourists are more likely to encounter petty theft, pickpocketing, bag snatching, scams. Watch out for these, especially in crowded tourist hotspots. Be mindful, be aware of your surroundings, and ask locals for advice. They know their city best. Next up, we're heading north to Glasgow, Scotland. All right, lads and lassies, we're crossing the border into Scotland and landing in Glasgow, a city known for its vibrant culture and friendly locales. Glasgow comes in at number 8 on our list with a crime rate of 45.38. This city has its fair share of challenges. Glasgow's history is intertwined with industry and shipbuilding, but it's also a city that's grappled with poverty and gang violence. Those factors can contribute to higher crime rates. Glasgow is a city of contrasts. Stunning Victorian architecture alongside gritty industrial landscapes, world-class museums and art galleries, but also areas plagued by poverty and crime. It's a city that's both beautiful and brutal. So, if you're planning a trip to Glasgow, be prepared for anything. Be aware of your surroundings, especially at night. Avoid walking alone in poorly lit areas. Be cautious about flashing expensive belongings. Trust your gut and get out of dodgy situations. Up next, we're heading east to a city that bridges continents, Istanbul. All right, beautiful, beautiful Istanbul. This city, straddling 2 continents, is a melting pot of cultures, history, and unfortunately some crime. With a crime rate of 47.55, it's not the most dangerous city on this list, but it definitely requires street smarts. Pickpockets, my friends, are the name of the game in Istanbul, especially if you're venturing away from the main tourist hubs. Keep your wits about you. Those bazaars might be tempting, but those crowds? Prime pickpocket real estate. And it's not just petty theft. There have been reports of scams targeting tourists, some involving fake tour guides or inflated prices. So do your research, book through reputable companies, and if a deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. Bottom line, Istanbul is an amazing city with so much to offer. Just be aware of your surroundings, keep your valuables close, and you'll be good to go. Enjoy the Turkish delights, but maybe double-check your change, you know? Next up, we have Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, coming in with a crime rate of 45.70. Now, Kiev is a city of contrasts. It's known for its beautiful architecture, vibrant culture, and delicious food. But like many cities, it's got a darker side. While petty crime is definitely a concern in tourist areas, there's something else to be aware of in Kiev: violent crime, particularly on suburban trains. This isn't something you hear about every day, but it's a reality in Kiev. It's thought that these trains, especially at night, can attract criminal elements looking for easy targets. Now, I'm not saying don't use public transportation, but be extra vigilant, especially if you're traveling late or alone. Stick to well-lit areas, be aware of who's around you, and if you feel uncomfortable, trust your gut. It's always better to be safe than sorry, right? Dublin, the land of Guinness, friendly locals, and a surprisingly high crime rate? Yep, coming in at number 11 is Dublin, Ireland, with a crime rate of 51.54. Now, before you cancel your trip to Temple Bar, it's important to note that most of the crime in Dublin is petty theft. Think pickpocketing, bag snatching, that kind of thing. And unsurprisingly, tourist hotspots are where these opportunistic crimes tend to happen. So, what's a traveler to do? Well, same rules apply here as anywhere else. Be mindful of your surroundings, especially in crowded areas. Don't flash your cash, keep your valuables secure, and don't leave your belongings unattended. And hey, if you're enjoying a pint of Guinness, maybe keep an eye on your drink too. It's a shame to have your night ruined by someone slipping something in there or walking off with your drink when you're not looking. Alright, coming in at number 12 is Brussels, Belgium. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this one kinda surprised me. Like, yeah, waffles and chocolate and stuff, but also a hotbed of danger. Apparently so. Brussels rocks a crime rate of 51.6, which on a global scale isn't exactly off the charts, but for Europe, it's up there. But what really bumps Brussels up this list is its history as a target for terrorism. Remember those horrific attacks back in 2016? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. And while the city has made strides in security since then, the threat remains very real. So if you're planning a trip to Brussels, definitely be aware of your surroundings and stay vigilant. It's a beautiful city with a lot to offer, but just like anywhere else in the world, it pays to be cautious. At number 13, we've got London, baby. London, England, home of Big Ben, Buckingham Palace, and a surprisingly high crime rate. Yeah, you heard me right. London clocks in with a crime rate of 53.36, and it's not just pickpockets lifting wallets in Piccadilly Circus. We're talking about violent crime, guys. Serious stuff. One of the biggest concerns in London right now is knife crime, which, let's be real, is terrifying. And while the city is actively working to combat this, it's still a very real issue. So if you're heading to London town, be smart about it. Be aware of your surroundings, especially at night, and try to avoid areas that are known to be dodgy. All right? Number 14 takes us to Odessa, Ukraine, a city known for its stunning architecture and vibrant culture. But beneath its beauty lies a darker side. Odessa has a crime rate of 53.75, and it's not just petty theft we're talking about here. While pickpocketing and scams targeting tourists are definitely a thing, especially in crowded areas and open-air markets, there are also reports of more serious crimes like robberies and assaults. Now I know what you're thinking. Hendo, you're killing the vibe. I had Odessa on my travel bucket list. Listen, I'm not saying you should cancel your trip. Just be smart about it. Be aware of your surroundings, avoid flashing expensive jewelry or cash, and be extra cautious at night. And maybe learn a few basic Ukrainian phrases just in case. Alright, Paris, the city of lights, comes in at number 15 on our list. You wouldn't think romance and bag snatching go hand in hand, but hey, that's life. Petty crime, especially pickpocketing, drives up the crime rate. Be careful in touristy areas. It's a buffet for pickpockets. Stay aware, keep valuables close, and maybe invest in a money belt. Enjoy Paris, But don't let the romance cloud your judgment. Coming in at number 16 on our list is Athens, Greece. Athens is a city steeped in history, the birthplace of democracy, but it's also dealing with modern problems. Unfortunately, the crime rate is 55.43. The economic hit has impacted crime rates. We're talking drug use, violent crimes, stuff that can really harsh your mellow. Be aware of your surroundings. Athens is incredible with so much to offer, from ancient ruins to vibrant nightlife. Be smart, do your research, and know which areas to avoid. You can still have an amazing time in this historic city. Alright, next up on our European danger tour, we're heading north to Scandinavia, to the land of minimalist design and surprisingly high murder rates. That's right, we're talking about Malmo, Sweden, coming in at number 17 on our list. Now, you might be thinking Sweden, but that's like the happiest country on earth. And yeah, Sweden does have a reputation for being super safe and peaceful. But even in paradise, there are shadows, and Malmo's got some dark corners. We're talking a crime rate of 56.14 and a murder rate of 2.9 per 100,000 people. That might not sound like much compared to some of the other cities on our list, but for Scandinavia, that's pretty high. What's going on in Malmo? Well, it's a complex issue, with factors like gang violence, social inequality, and integration issues all playing a role. But the bottom line is, even in seemingly idyllic places, you gotta stay aware. Don't let your guard down, keep your wits about you, and enjoy the Swedish meatballs, alright? Alright, we're moving on to number 18, and guys, it's another Italian city. This time, it's Naples. Naples, the home of pizza, beautiful coastline, and unfortunately, a pretty intense crime scene. The crime rate here is 58.26. That's not something to just brush off. So what's going on in Naples? Well, for starters, it's got the Camorra. The Camorra is basically the Neapolitan mafia. They're deeply entrenched in the city, contributing to Naples' crime stats. And it's not just organized crime. Naples also struggles with petty crime, like pickpocketing and scams. Be careful, especially with expensive items. Look, I'm not saying don't visit Naples. It's a beautiful city with so much to offer. But you gotta be smart. Be aware of your surroundings, keep your valuables close, and maybe lay low on the whole I'm a tourist vibe. From one Italian city to another, we're heading south to Catania, Sicily. Catania ranks 19th with a crime rate of 60.68. That's not great. Catania has a mafia problem. Organized crime is felt in the city, plus there's petty crime. Tourists need to be careful. Your wallet could be gone in a flash. But Catania has stunning architecture and delicious food. Be smart and aware of your surroundings. Alright, we're hopping over to the UK for number 20 on our list, and guys, it's Birmingham. Birmingham's got a crime rate of 61.26, and knife crime is a serious problem. It's been making headlines for a while now. It's a complex issue with many factors, but it's not all doom and gloom. It's actually a pretty cool city. Great food and a thriving art scene. But be careful, especially at night. Trust your gut and stay safe. Alright, we're heading deep into Siberia now with number 21, Kyzyl, Russia. Kyzyl has a murder rate of 35 per 100,000 people. It's significantly higher than most major US cities. Alcohol plays a huge role in the crime rate. It's a factor in many violent crimes. There's also significant organized crime. Be extra vigilant, especially if you're a visitor. Next up, we're heading to France, but not for the Eiffel Tower or the Louvre. At number 22, we have Marseille, a city with a reputation that precedes it. With a crime rate of 61.5, Marseille is not a place you want to be caught unprepared. What makes Marseille so dangerous? Well, it's a major port city, which unfortunately means it's a hub for all sorts of illegal activities. We're talking drug trafficking on a large scale, organized crime running rampant, the whole 9 yards. It's like they took a page out of Narcos and dropped it right in the south of France. Now, I'm not saying you can't enjoy yourself in Marseille. There's still beauty to be found in the city, and I'm sure there are plenty of safe areas. But you've got to go in with your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings, don't flash your cash, and maybe avoid any dimly lit alleys, especially if you hear someone whisper Marseille. You know, just to be safe. Number 23 on our list brings us to Donetsk, Ukraine, a city with a crime rate of 69.1. Now, I want to be upfront here. This isn't your typical watch out for pickpockets kind of danger. Donetsk is a city that's been ravaged by conflict and political instability. We're talking about a place where violent protests, armed groups, and political chaos are tragically part of daily life. It's a stark reminder that danger isn't always about petty crime. Sometimes it's about being caught in the crossfire of something much larger. It breaks my heart to see what's happening in Donetsk. It's a city with a rich history and culture that's been torn apart by conflict. Honestly, guys, This isn't a place you should even consider visiting right now. It's simply too dangerous, and the situation is too unpredictable. My heart goes out to the people of Donetsk, and I hope for a day when their city is once again safe and peaceful. Alright guys, we're moving on to number 24, and things are getting real. We're talking about Grozny, the capital of Chechnya, Russia. This is a city that's been ravaged by war, not once but twice. And while the city's been making strides in recent years, those scars run deep. We're talking serious stuff. Kidnapping, terrorism, you name it. This isn't a place you just casually wander into without doing your homework and taking serious precautions. Next up is Shkodër, Albania, coming in at number 25. Now, Albania's a beautiful country, no doubt, but Shkodër has a bit of a reputation. We're looking at a crime rate of 76.56, and that's not just your average snatch and grab stuff. We're talking about some seriously heavy crimes here. Human trafficking, extortion, drug smuggling. This is organized crime territory, folks. And while the average tourist might not be the direct target, you're still in a place where things can go south really quickly. Now, I'm not saying don't go to Shkodër. It's got stunning scenery, rich history, and amazing culture, but you've got to be smart about it. Avoid flashing your cash, be wary of strangers, and stick to well-lit and populated areas, especially at night. And for God's sake, don't get mixed up with anything even remotely shady. Number 26 takes us to a city that might surprise some of you. Amsterdam. Yeah, you heard that right. Amsterdam. Known for its liberal attitudes, Amsterdam also has a dark side. It's not just about murder rates, it's the overall risk and crime. Prostitution, drug trafficking, you name it, it's there. Tourists can become easy targets. Enjoy Amsterdam, but do it responsibly. All right, we're heading over to Portugal, a country typically known for its beauty and relatively peaceful atmosphere. Sadly, Porto, despite its stunning architecture and delicious port wine, has been experiencing a bit of a crime surge recently. It's not necessarily the most dangerous city on this list in terms of violent crime, but you gotta be cautious. We're talking theft, burglary, drug-related stuff, the kind of things that can really put a damper on your trip if you're not careful. Think about it. You're strolling along the Douro River, admiring the view, and bam, someone swipes your wallet. Not the vibe you want, right? So if you're planning a trip to Porto, by all means, enjoy the sights, the food, the culture, but remember to be vigilant. Keep your wits about you, be mindful of your surroundings, and don't let your guard down just because it's a beautiful city. Next up, we're talking Bucharest, Romania. Now, Bucharest is a city with a rich history and a lot to offer visitors. But like any major city, it's got its share of problems. And unfortunately, tourist-targeted scams are pretty high on the list. We're talking classic scams here, pickpocketing in crowded areas, fake taxis looking to rip you off, and those street scams that are almost an art form in some places. You know, the shell game, the found ring trick, that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not saying don't visit Bucharest, it's a fascinating city, and I'd hate for you to miss out. But what I am saying is, be smart. Be aware of your surroundings. Don't flash around large amounts of cash. And if a deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. Alright, we're getting close to the top of the list now, and things are getting real. At number 29, we have Riga, Latvia. Now, Riga is a beautiful city with stunning architecture and a rich history. But like many places, it has its dark side. While Riga might not be known for its violent crime, it's the petty crime that'll get you. We're talking pickpocketing, bag snatching, scams, you name it. And the worst part? These guys are good. They operate in crowded tourist areas, blending in seamlessly with the crowds. And before you know it, your wallet's gone. So, what's the takeaway here? Be vigilant, keep your valuables close, be aware of your surroundings, and try not to look like a lost tourist. Remember, these guys prey on easy targets, so don't make yourself one. And at number 30, we have Sofia, Bulgaria. Now, Sofia is a city of contrasts. On the one hand, you've got beautiful churches, ancient ruins, and vibrant nightlife. But on the other hand, there's a darker side to this city, one that's plagued by organized crime. We're not just talking about petty theft here, guys. This is serious stuff. Drug trafficking, human trafficking, extortion, you name it, they've got it. These criminal organizations have their fingers in all sorts of pies, and they operate with a level of sophistication that's frankly pretty terrifying. Now, I'm not saying that you're guaranteed to run into trouble in Sofia, but it's important to be aware of the risks, especially if you're traveling alone or venturing out into unfamiliar areas at night. Stick to well-lit, populated areas. Be cautious about who you interact with, and if something feels off, trust your gut. And there you have it, guys, the top 30 most dangerous cities in Europe. Now, I know this video might have been a little heavy, but remember, knowledge is power. By being aware of the risks and taking precautions, you can help ensure that your trip to Europe is a safe and enjoyable one. Thanks for watching. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.